Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Awesomenauts Rumble. It is now time for the long await. We are at the grand finals. Joining with me is once again hanging in there. I guess it won't be Jasper. He's fallen asleep. But sitting underneath Jasper is Devon.
Yeah, hey! We're on to the grand finals. We just saw XiPang Disciples come back from the first loss, and then come into the losers finals. They won 2-0, and now they're back for the grand finals. So, be interesting to see who wins the cash prizes for this little tournament.
Absolutely. And guys, just a reminder, we are doing our bet system. If you type who you think is going to win into the chat, and you guess correctly, you're going to be eligible for a giveaway after the match. You have until the match begins to get those guesses in. So anyways, it's check yourselves eSports. It's Nikki, Ubi, Edster, and Dave W versus XiPang Disciples. That's Blah, Paulo, Blah, Paulo, Mr. Manager, and Body Hunter. It's kind of interesting because I always bring this up. I always kind of see Nikki and Paulo as rivals, so to speak, because they've been in the finals of 99% in tournaments. And you haven't seen, like, and Blah was for years, you know, Paulo's definitive kind of partner in crime, and for like the past year or so, Blah hasn't really been active in the competitive scene. See him back and to see him with Paulo is like in the finals of another tournament versus Nikki, like this is old school. You know, this sort of matchup hasn't happened since like Alienware Awesome Cup 2. We have probably the best players in the world now up to duke it out. What do you think has to be going through everybody's minds right now?
Well, first of all, I think the money's although it's not the biggest pot of money ever, it's still something in their mind. Otherwise, I think that they're thinking, oh, what can I do against them to win? Especially since they had the match earlier, in which case Team XiPang Disciples lost that one and had to go on to the next one, actually. So they're back again. So they've had experience with the team, not only in this tournament, but throughout their entire competitive experience. So it's kind of like, okay, although it is competitive, I think it's kind of a nice little rivalry that they're coming back to. So it's not just competitive, it's personal and competitive on a nice little level.
Absolutely. And you know, so talking about the comps for a second, you have they're banning out Penny and Deadlift on the side of Chick-fil-A's eSports, and picking up Vinny and Spike, Scoop, and Leon Lacamillion, going for an kind of, I guess, commemorating the nostalgia here, going for an old school traditional collapse burst cup, and you're not seeing something terribly different, but I think so. It has a newer non in the fray there too. Max Focus, accompanied by a Swingins and Froggy G, and banning out the Genji and Ted McPain. But very heavy initiation, very get in there and quickly kill someone off like a rotation who's overextended type of comps here. What would you say is who has the upper hand here?
Given what's been going on, kind of what they can do, honestly, I think it's very scary to see that the Czechia subs has access to two really strong silences. Although time slows are very potent FCC, I would say that the silences coming from Vinny and Spike and Vinny and Spike and Leon will actually dominate the fights, especially since the knots that they're fighting are so heavily reliant on abilities that it's going to make a huge difference there. So I think that the red team there has a better advantage at the moment due to itemization and access to potential CC.
Really, I'm going to go ahead and give my agreement on that, but the silence is different. Those scales and the double silence. However, you still have double stuns coming, and you have that time. That's the main.
That's true.
That Check Out eSports doesn't really have, and time slow amplifies. So, for example, you get stunned inside a 6 slow for 0.7 seconds. Guess what? That 0.7 just became like 1.10 something. That's a big difference, especially in a fast-paced, which is exactly what both of these stumps are. Combine that with the fact that it's almost impossible to dodge that or the station on the map of Aguilon, then, you know, I think we're in for both. It's going to be very chaotic from both sides, and it might just come down to if the right, just kind of, you know, the perfect slow-mo shot can be landed before those silences get inside.
Yeah, I could agree there. And one of the big things to me is that when it comes to potential and opportunities too, I don't think they picked a better map than Gillion with the tight corridors and the ability to shoot the time slow through walls. So there might be some really good opportunities for Max to do some real heavy work there.
Absolutely. Well, with that said, though, we can talk about so much, but I think I'm ready to get into this game. I'm at the 21-second mark. Would you like to give us a countdown, my friend?
Sure. So 3, 2, 1, and go.
And they're off, and it's on the red side. You got Nikki playing Leon the Chameleon, Ubi playing the Robo-Scoop, and Dave W playing the Vinny and Spike. On the blue side of things, Blah playing that world-famous Froggy G, Ball the Hunter playing the Swiggins, and Paulo playing the Max Focus. Subbing out manager, putting out Blah as we talked about earlier, and Stealth Orb gonna come out on the Blah as he gets the tongue though, and it goes down to about 1 bar. Gets really punished for taking that orb. They really predicted that the frog would be trying to take that there. Just a little reminder of just, you know, I guess how many moves in advance, you know, a team like eSports is going to be thinking. And so, you know, no one can play super traditionally here. They have to keep in mind that, you know, both sides, you know, have seen it all. And that's the, you know, that might just be the wake-up reminder that they needed there. We're going to see kind of a little bit of footsie nuts going on. Besides that first initial Gib attempt off that Stealth Orb, nothing much has happened. Probably going to take a little chip hammer there on his lane rotation. But not much besides that. Droids are currently in favor of check out Self's eSports, but not by much. And now it looks like we might actually see another gank attempt going down here. But they know, again, they're not going to do anything that neither side doesn't already know about. Miss Dash coming out, Spike Dive, Snare, Slow-Mo Shot, Bunny Hunter gonna Anchor Dive to get out and drop his hook on Nikki. Complete disengagement coming out from the blue team. And just like calls like that, like everyone's gonna like know instantly whether or not it's a fight they want to take or not, because again, these are very fast-paced, burst-centric fights. And if they realize like, hey, this is, they can already tell like within the first half second of the fight, this isn't in our favor, we need to get out of this. And that's exactly why we saw that massive retreat. Just like Bounty Hunter is already, instead of even trying to go in, like he is here, and look at big fight coming out, and Blog getting out just sliver of HP. The entirety of both teams' abilities get completely consumed on that little choke point on the bottom lane there. Bounty Hunter going and farming his creeps a little bit, while Blog's gonna go back and picking up the slow cubes here. That's a extremely early pickup. What do you think about slow cubes as a first item?
To be honest, slow cubes are really potent, and although they don't get picked up a lot by Frog because the cooldown is very potent, to just can't give you more opportunities. You get some attack speed. Sometimes you want to get the damage. Slow cubes are underrated, and they synergize extremely well with Tornado. Also, might have to get you to pause for a second. I seem to have some issues with my replay.
Okay, I'm at 255.
255. Okay, give me just a second. Perfect. Sorry about that. All right, ready to go again.
Alrighty. Alright, would you like to give us a countdown?
Sure. 3, 2, 1, and go.
Alrighty, and now we are back, and immediately Nikki gets hooked off there, and hey, we just counted down to the first blood, and 1-for-1 trade. Nikki got hooked off the jump pad while Dave W cleans up Paulo. Very nice hook coming out from Body Hunter there, and right now we don't really see much else of note happening. Kind of just no real push being generated off of this. Neither team is going to really try and take a fight that they weren't going to previously. And yeah, just kind of reset of momentum here. Body Hunter and Paulo clearing out the top lane, now rotating down bottom. What each team has, I guess, clear kill conditions. I mean, it's obvious it has to do with the anchors, the hammers, the slow dashes. Oh, right there, boom,
Oop,
everything
nope.
coming out. There comes the slow-mo shot. There comes the anchor dive. Nikki, hook. Paulo takes out Dave W. Now we're going to see some disengagement. Paulo going in, gets tongued in. Anchor dive coming out from Body Hunter. Going to be a whiff. Blah doing some pressure in the jungle, trying to zone them out. Push getting set up on the top lane. But yeah, what can each team do to make sure that the kills are as clean as they possibly can be without anything going messy?
Two things come into my mind. One of them is the fact that Max needs to focus on landing the right slow-mo shots there. The other side, Nikki needs to be the one to initiate with slow, like base design stung, or you need Phoenix Spike to go into science right after. So Ideally, in most situations, you'll have Nikki go in, maybe silence Tongue of Max or silence Tongue Swiggins or Frog, and then as soon as the silence is just about to wear off, have Vinny and Spike come in there and follow up with a second silence in order to maximize the burst damage there. And that might just be made easier with a Scoop Hammer, so they need to combo in such a way that they maximize the CC in order to make effective plays. Just like that, where actually Bounty Hunter takes a lot of damage from the Tongue, followed up by the Spike Dive. That's a really good way to make this silence last for as long as it can, rather than just pop you both at the same time.
Yeah, no, definitely. If you can keep those abilities locked down for an extended period, that can make a big difference. And just doing things like that is exactly what you need to do in order to, keep things in favor of you. It's the little things like that can just completely turn one thing into from one person's favor to another. That's something that we'll see a bunch. And you also sometimes it is more advantageous to just do the instant damage, because sometimes you're just trying to kill someone very fast before they can do anything about it or really react. And so you'll see where those situations end up differing. But yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise,
that's what I got.
I could make another comment on the situation. I'm really surprised to see that Max has actually picked up the extra slow power on the orb so early. I see a lot of Maxes go for damage on either auto attack or the scene illumination, but the focus on such early CC, it's kind of interesting. It's an interesting way to play. I think they're kind of really building the team around that, and I think slow cubes makes a lot more sense. The fact that 2.5 seconds of a fairly significant slow gets increased so much more with that. Was it an 80% slow with the with the orb, something like that, if I recall correctly. Just really enhances that slow to last basically forever. So that whole team fight, they'll be slowed.
Yeah, and that 60, it's with that upgrade, it's doing a total of 60%, which is extremely significant. It's one of those things that just I want to point out, like, if for example they find the slow mo shot and hit all three of them, it's camera gonna be not focusing on that fight at all, so I didn't really catch that. But Dave W gonna be taking out Bilal. Looks like it was just kind of a very clean Leon Hammer set up there with Dave W getting the spike dive blast, just kind of his teammate beating him a kill. Now Paulo and Body are gonna be on the deep. But what the interesting thing of note is that they're basically an Anchor Dive is going to completely immobilize the red team, if he manages to make that happen inside the slow-mo shot. For that reason alone, there's gonna be a hook right there. There comes out the binding slow-mo shot, and the entirety red team backing up, and now Nikki gonna tongue Blah's gonna run away. Everything going down there just on that bottom lane. Buddy Hunter goes fishing on top, doesn't find anything, and he's gonna back up. Leon going into the jungle, and the blue team knows that they're gonna go back behind their top turret now. And here comes the tongue onto Blah, spike dive, boom, Blah gone. But Paulo manages to pick up Dave W in exchange. We saw just again that tongue into hammer just initiation, and then the full bindings and spike dives comes out, just completely erases Frog. It's a very good comp to counter him with. For the reasons I mentioned earlier regarding the time duration, the time slow, amplifying Anchor Dive, do you think we'll see Kraken Sight get picked up here? That's the increased stun on Anchor Dive.
I would like to, actually, and I think it's a very solid choice overall. The only other choices I would probably consider for Swiggins in this case, if you really wanted to go hard in there, I'd say that it might be useful to pick up a Treasure Lottery map, just to get that CC reduction. Actually complete CC immunity while going in there to avoid being silenced, and also to really just kind of tick off the enemy team as the Stair won't do anything. But in general, I think the stun's going to be picked up to synergize with the slower to make it increasingly powerful. And speaking of CC, for Frog, might have to wait a second. Paul just barely gets out there after being silenced and bursted. For Frog, I'd probably recommend Baby Cream Math to reduce the effects of silence and snare, given that it's his primary weakness.
Yeah, and definitely. And the sooner you can use that splash dash in a team fight to get to safety, the better. He does manage to get a dash nail going down there, and Ubi gonna get hooked down. That slow sudden him up. The ice cube's doing all the work there, and that's gonna be a very clean 1-for-0 due to lastly going to Paulo. Nikki gonna find a tongue on Blah, taking him down to 50% HP, but he's just gonna run out. Nikki using his clone to try and defend as much as possible. He's gonna find another tongue on Blah again, just keeping that poke down on him. And Body Hunter looks like he was waiting for Apollo to take the invis, and then once Apollo got by, just took the invis anyways. XD, no pun intended on the tag there, and which makes sense. Bounty Hunter should be having the anchor dive anyways, or excuse me, the stealth anyways, because anchor dive. And he uses it right there on Nikki, but Nikki actually deals a lot more damage in exchange. So we're gonna see a big team fight coming out here. Hammer gonna barely miss Paulo, so no bindings or tongue follow up on that, and Paulo's just gonna go ahead and consume his creeps. Bounty Hunter, Paulo, and Blanc all defended that bottom turret. They're just, you know, waiting for the right moment, and in the meantime the push is gonna be set up on that there. Nikki is looking for lane rotations, finds Blah, takes him down to 50%. Now Body Hunter, Blah going in. Paulo finds the last hit. Very nice anchor dive initiate coming out there. And Ubi in a bad spot. He's gonna get out. Actually, he's fine. They don't have abilities to punish him for getting caught out like that. And some health creeps are gonna get consumed here. Still 1 for nothing. It's definitely what they need. That's actually gonna be the kills 5 to 3, and they do have a full level advantage now. They should be getting some revenge push here. Anchor hook, bubble, scene illumination, a little bit of chip down there. Dave W looking to see if he can find a spike dive. He does find it on Paulo. Paulo was trying to bait it and trying to juke it, but Dave W read it and managed to make sure that he hit that glass platform on top. I saw what Paulo was trying to do, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. However, it's not going to matter that much. Blah just chilling in Viz. He's getting bumped. He's being discovered. He misses the dash, and then both teams just kind of disengaging at the moment. Not much really occurring right now. Ooh, anchor dive. Ubi, he's taking a lot of damage. Ubi, Scoop is not that tricky of a knot. You can't just sit in front of the enemy's team and wait, enemy's turn and wait for them to attack you. It doesn't work like that, my friend. Maybe late game. Anchor dive coming out onto Dave W. Slow-mo shot following up. Unfortunately, slow-mo shot doesn't do any damage, so it's not going to be the best follow-up of Dave W. is already behind his turret, but they are going to get some nice chip down on that bottom there. Spike dive coming out, Paulo taking a lot of damage, going to go down to 290 HP. Body Hunter and Block are definitely there to escort him though. Right now is actually looks like it's going in favor of the blue team. They have double the kills that the red team does and a full level advantage, and they're slowly starting to peak up. What does the red team need to do differently?
Well, they need to be watching out for Max, and I think in this situation, Baby Curry Math might be the thing that they need to pick up. It might help in situations like that where you have a whole team, blue team collapse, and the combination of CC plus Max's maxed out scene illumination damage, it's enough work to melt even Scoop, the bulkiest knots in that team. A little bit of Baby Curry Math will reduce the effectiveness of that time slow, the stuns, the slow, and basically make them able to maneuver around and not have to worry about things so much. Other than that, they need to play really aggressively. I think they need to be together a little bit more, and they need to focus down probably Paulo, I'd say, in the situations, just because he's the primary damage dealer for the blue team. And he's got the nuke in the form of scene illumination, and if he goes down, well, blue team's left at a severe disadvantage, actually.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things that you're gonna be watch out for. And look at all that damage coming out. Massive fight here. Bounty Hunter and Ubi both taken out as the entire of the abilities. Very nice slow-mo shot flank coming out from Paulo there. And now Dash is gonna be taking out Dave W, who picks up the Stealth Orb. Gonna just come back. They're trying to find Nikki, who's in Biz, and Paulo actually manages to find the last hit. Nothing necessary from Blah. That's gonna be a 1 for 3 wipeout in favor of XiPang Disciples. They should be able to get both turrets off of this 100% that top turret, possibly the bottom turret as well. That was an incredible fight. The confidence of flanking with Max focus. That is like something that's a very high risk, high reward, because Max is exposed there, but if you do it at the right time, getting that slow-mo shot and seeing illumination cut off is absolutely devastating. That's exactly what we saw just happen there. And now that's completely tilting the favor. We're almost at a 2-level advantage, just a little bit more XP for the blue team in order to have that. 10 to 4 kills. The first turret of the game has been taken out. CL eSports, check out Subs eSports, I mean, is now still looking for the Gibbs, seeing if they can find something off the lane rotation. They know blue team is just going to send them back while that happens, so they're not going to really attempt anything for now. Nikki going around doing some hunting, see when he can spot Dave W and Ubi. Again, just kind of rotating around. Mid-ship control is slowly starting to shift towards the blue team. Nikki, as the Leon here, is going to be playing most of the initiate. Big fight coming out. There is that stun into slow-mo shot, but not before Nikki cleans up Blah. 1 for 1 exchange. Ubi and Frog taken out of the picture. Super Joy, Nikki actually took one a few seconds ago there. Going to go ahead and clean up on the lane. Doesn't fishing tongue, doesn't find anything. Now we're going to see Paulo trying to clean up the droids, but the clones are going to stop it. Nikki might go for a tongue here. Now he's getting 2 zoned down, and there's the chip that they needed. Taking that turret down to 3.5 bars. That was, the blue team has demonstrated something here that I want to point out is really significant. they have an instant comp, right? You know, they just
Oh,
quickly
yeah, they
right
do.
click and get out. They were able to successfully do that on a scoop of Awesomenauts. Yo, how incredibly scary is that?
And that's only it's like, okay, it's one thing to say, yeah, it's a scoop. No, that's another thing. That's a scoop with pills. That's a scoop of 2 stages of pills, and he still gets melted instantly by the combination of CC and max focus damage, which is happening yet again. Oh, and a whole wipe for Paulo. Paulo with the double kill, and another kill. Just that raw damage combined with Swiggins and Frog initiating for him, it just means that all the scene illumination is going to hit, and that's like hitting Fire Breath with Nibs. It's incredibly difficult to do so, but if you have somebody set it up for you, you melt everyone in the game. Clunk would be dying instantly, of all knots, I would imagine.
Absolutely, absolutely, and they're doing, and they're about to get base exposure now, and they have all those droids. There it is, and look at that massive thing. I mean, Nicky's Leon, so he's gonna clean that up really fast, but still, like, almost at a 3-level advantage now, 14 kills to 5. I would not have guessed this looking at the comps. Like, and honestly, like, I felt like check yourselves eSports, they kind of set a certain tone in the first few minutes of the game, where they got these really nice and clean insta-gives. But like ever since that, they've just been struggling. They get caught out. Dash coming out onto Nikki there, and that slow dash followed up with the anchor dive is going to be another 1-for-0, and that's going to be leaving Ubi and Dave W left to defend. What can Ubi and Dave W be doing right now? Like, what can they do to even counteract this?
They can't do a lot right now. They need to get they need to secure kills. There goes the burst they had with the bindings. You got the spike with the burst, but it's not going to be enough. There's nothing to hold that team back at that point. They're just going to keep hitting it, and the towers, yeah, the course is just going to go down.
So that's 16 minutes in. We already have our first win going to the XiPang Disciples. Complete turnaround of what they had going on during the what do you call it? Their winners match earlier, because it was check out Selves Esports that sent them to the losers bracket earlier, but now, I mean, again, just complete turnaround. Really well played and really well drafted. That slow Q pickup right out of the gate was kind of questionable, but it did so much work and combined so well with slow-mo shot. And I saw someone in the chat earlier, I didn't catch who it was, mentioned about how busted slow-mo shot would be, amplifying all those CCs, and I think they completely nailed it, because that's exactly what we saw happen here.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that the red team didn't get a baby Curie Mouth in that case, because having a 33% CC reduction would have helped so much, especially after the CCs were amplified. Unfortunate in that case, and props to the blue team for playing that extremely well. I mean, Agilion smacks his map for the most part, but even still, you saw those anchor dives followed up with the orbs, you saw the splash dashes followed up with the orbs. That was really good teamwork, and I think that goes to show that they're not out yet. They have a bracket to win before they have to go into the final bracket, but I think it's possible.
Absolutely. Do you think we'll see, like, coming up, like, more comps like these that are both very right-click pace, very fast-paced, and just very, get in, get out with a kill?
Well, I think I'm going to see some max bans pretty soon, but other than that, probably a lot of aggressive builds, probably a lot of aggressive characters going to come out, maybe even 1 or 2 pushers that are really strong at knocking down guitar, so we might see like a Ted or something like that in the next few matches. Depending on what they want to play. Maybe we'll see some Nikki Skoldier. Maybe we'll see something else. It's hard to say. There's so many characters in the game, and there's so many possibilities they could play around with.
Absolutely. Well, with that said, we're going to take a short break. Do not go anywhere. We're going to be right back with match 2 of the winner grand finals, XiPang Disciples for Check Yourselves East. Go anywhere, my friend. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Awesomenauts Rumble Grand Finals. We are in match 2 of Check Yourself eSports versus XiPang something I should know by now. XiPang
The XiPang Disciples.
XiPang Disciples. Now, is that canon as confirmed by Ronimo?
I believe so, but
Well,
I'll have to check later.
Excuse me.
That's the way the X is pronounced. X is a very weird letter.
It really is. And I think we got some slightly weird comps.
Yeah, those are weird to say the least. Holy crow.
Not necessarily nuts you don't usually see, but that comp on red team. Okay, XiPang Disciples banning out Vinny and X and picking up Genji, Scree, and Durple. Do I even need to tell y'all which map it is? Check Yourself eSports going to be banning out Froggy G and Coco and picking up a Penny, a Ted McPaint, and Raylan. If you had any doubts on the map, then those should now be eliminated. How are you feeling about these comps, Devlon?
There's a lot of guns on the blue team side, to be honest. I can see Gun Penny, Gun Ted, Gun Raylan. Shots fired. Anyways, I think we're going to see what we saw earlier in the Ribbit match with Nikki playing Raylan. We have that build that was really impressive, actually. And on the other side, XiPang Disciples, I think, are going to have to try to put in some work. And like these are some really weird comps. I haven't seen anything like this for quite a while. And the fact that Durple doesn't have like the best synergy with Genji, but has pretty great synergy with Genji, kind of interesting. And Sawblade and Trap is deadly. Sawblade and Cocoon, a little bit harder to pull off, but still pretty amazing.
And even then, Sawblade follow-up, not even considering the possibility of double saw, which can be landed consistently on grid trapped and cocoon targets. That's going to be dealing 700, 800 damage, upwards to 900 depending on how much it can sit there. Double saw can easily go anywhere from 1600 to 1800 and even picking that 1900 there. Then you consider Nuke, which is 1000 damage right there, and Cocoon, which can in itself be around 600, 700 damage if and maybe 800 if built properly. I really want to see as much CC as possible on the red team. The harder it is for the blue team to navigate, I think the easier time they're gonna have like. I think the red team needs to play to their strengths. Genji can't let himself get caught. They can't. They're gonna have to have at least a couple of deaths. That's gonna do to a jank rift or something like that, or just kind of getting caught out. It's an easy comp to get caught out against. So fast, so mobile, have easy to land abilities. I want them trying their best to avoid getting silenced. I don't want to see Durple drop it into. It's more than likely going to be Body Hunter playing the Durple, and he's a very smart. I've seen him go toe to toe with Nikki playing a few different. So it kind of goes down to just how it's played, how the match out is played, but. If they fall for the weaknesses of their comp, basically, that's how they lose them. They let the Genji get silenced. If they let that Durple get stuck in red. They play around their weaknesses and capitalize on doing the amazing things that their comp can, then this is totally XiPang Disciples' game, and there won't be much that Check Yourself eSports about it.
Yeah, no, I agree there. And one of the things I'm going to be curious to see what happens is I'm hoping Durple picks up the baby Curie Mammoth, because as far as upgrades go, that's going to be extremely helpful for him avoiding, the silences and avoiding the time rift slow as much as possible. And I don't think this is happening, but I'd be really curious to see if Genji want a mid-game to late-game heal wand with attack speed and damage, just to keep the Durple sustained up in siege mode with Monarch Blessing, and just make him something that's not able to be taken out while still having that DPS and using him as a meat shield, given the fact that Nikki doesn't pick up Pierce.
The one would be amazing here. It would actually be amazing. But I think it's time to see if they actually do this or not. Would you like to get into the match, my friend?
Sure. So, countdown's going out. 3, 2, 1, and go. Right, so on the red team, we have Body Hunter, like you said, playing the Durple. We have Blah playing the Genji, and Apollo playing your Scree. We have Captain McPain being played by Edster. Yarr. And we have Hoobi playing your Gun Penny, who is actually Cheerleader Penny. And of course, Nikki's playing he's playing the Raylan. And it looks like he's doing this exact same build he did just earlier in one of the previous matches, which might actually work out to his favor. Double regen on Durple is going to help him keep alive. we've got Saw Blade damage on 3, which makes a lot of sense, and Jagger Eggs that do a little bit of damage. New coming out, Nikki doing a lot of damage, and the first blood goes to Paulo, finishing off Nikki with that little bit of lightning rod. That was a really good, basically, follow up on that cocoon.
Yeah, and you know we're gonna have to see just how much this happens all game, because I think one thing I don't think we mentioned too much. One of the really good synergies that Derpal and Genji has is you can place that grid trap over a cocoon. Okay, and that is one of the most like infuriating. Like I actually just died that way sort of matchups this game has. Like there's so much you can do about it. Lots of Pokemon out onto Body Hunter right there. He's gonna take a nice stun strike coming out from Ed, and then a follow-up snipe from Nikki. Rift's gonna be catching out Paulo there, and not gonna be much follow-up. It was in front of the turret. They're gonna go top lane, push up the droids, airstrike onto Blah, Monarch Blessing, Cocoon onto Edster. Body Hunter trying to get there as fast as he can. He's not gonna be in time to place a grid trap there. He is gonna take mid at the cost of the pulse. Chip the snipe coming out onto Paulo and Blah there. Cocoon onto Edster, but Body Hunter doesn't want to necessarily take this fight. He does take the nuke, and that's going to put Edster down to about 2 bars. Another nuke coming up from Body Hunter, not going to hit a thing. Going down to bottom lane, Edster going to be taking out the solar boss. You'll be there to help, and even a snipe, nice little snipe coming up from Nikki, and the red team doing the same with their own solar bosses. One tactic you see sometimes from the top teams is solar boss dies. I like to think kind of interrupting the enemy team as they try and take the solar boss. Who is in a better position if either team to even try and do that?
Ooh. I mean, it's hard to say, because, I mean, when it comes down to stuff like that, Totem is very effective for protecting your own solar boss and just kind of securing the kills there, or even locking them in there. And Genji's got the option to put the solar boss in a cocoon to really deny it. But I think the raw damage that the blue team has allows them to take out the solar boss relatively quickly. They just need to focus on where they're putting their things. Stair traps right in the mid push, almost a death trap for Nikki there. Does not fall in, and it's going to be fine. Like takes him out, but there's no one to capitalize on, so effectively useless. Blue team's looking pretty good in this position. I mean, they died once, but that's only 1 death so far. And in addition to that, they've been doing a little bit of tower chip, and as the game goes on, it's only going to get worse. And Raylan's going to scale really hard with the auto attack. So is Penny, and Ted's going to be a monster because he's already kind of a fast auto attacker. Cocoon misses as they go aggressive on Nikki, and Totem comes out. Totem blocks Nikki for a second, but it's not going to do much there. And blue team's going to keep that mid control on their side.
And they're doing a really well job so far. Just kind of avoiding the traps. You know, I talked about I didn't want to see that Dirtpool, you know, just kind of dropping down into a rift, and we haven't seen that. We haven't seen kind of the blue team really accidentally walking into grid traps either and getting caught out like that. Most of the initiations have really come out from Blah's cocoons, which is, you know, a bit harder to avoid. It's an actual projectile. That's just kind of the way that the cookie crumbles. And Nikki gonna be seeing if he can fish out a snipe there. Doesn't really find anything. Kind of just hits the walls. It wasn't the best starting spot. I think he slid a little bit. He was trying to see if he could find a lane rotation interruption there. They're gonna get some droids escorted up on the top lane. Kind of a slow-paced game relative to what we saw last towards the other matches. And just this kind of, I know it's 1 kill, only 4.5 minutes in, but when you think about the teams, that's actually pretty slow. And
I'd say so. And then, in addition to that, like the most kills that have been happening all game have just been the solar boss kills, and they've been effectively going after. That's like in this situation where Nikki tries to steal the solar boss, is unable to do so, as the red team takes down the solar boss quite effectively. But you're right. This is an extremely slow game, all things considered. And there's some damage flowing between the teams. They're doing a really good job protecting themselves. And I have to say, at the moment, unless that snipe lands, does not hit the Genji. I'm really liking that Drifble's build right now. It's a little scary, to say the least, because of the potential. I'm thinking he'll one still. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no way if he's going that out of the gate and his ability into like damage or grid trap or anything, he has to be planning on it. Just like being impossible to deal with. Nikki gonna get cocoon here. This might be a frag, and here's gonna be that counter airstrike. Blue team can't even do anything to punch those used abilities because there's a grid trap and totem just sitting there in mid. Law seeing if he can bait. He's gonna let himself get pounced, but he's gonna cocoon Ubi in exchange. Here comes Sawblade, gonna take Ubi down to about a bar. Edster taking a lot of damage. They need to back up. Here comes a nuke. It's going to beat me a lot of push. It's going to help clear out those destroys there. There's going to be a cocoon. It's not going to hit a thing. Edster way too afraid to kind of go out here, and he's going to pay his life for it. He should have known better. He knew that was going to happen, and that's going to be a 1-0 once again in favor of the red team, bringing it 3-0. That Saw Blade just taking him out. Take it out and retract it very clean and easy. You see a pickup of Hill's shield being picked up on Genji. You see the Saw Blade going on the top side. That's sniped a little bit of a decent chip there, but it's not going to be enough. Cocoon coming out on Nikki. Nikki going for his traditional auto attack build, though he has snuck in an early pickup of Height on Rift. How do you feel about the Raylan building here? I know kind of auto attack first is Nikki's thing, but should he be sticking to his thing, or do you think we should be seeing an early snipe?
No, I like it, especially since that if you snipe, it makes you very vulnerable to Genji jump on you using Cocoon, and then having yourself being followed up by everything else. And I honestly think that the Height on Rift on this map in particular, almost a kill on Genji there, is a smart choice. Not only is it really annoying to deal with because of a wall that you can't jump over, when using it on the jump pad on the middle, it basically extends the time that they had to go up, and that gives you a lot of time to prepare, and or just gank while they're trying to do something about it. Sword Boss on the red team side is trying to be taken. It will be taken by the blue team, and the Saw Blade nearly gets it.
That's that dive that we were talking about there. You know, taking the other team's solo boss is something that can really be a free kill or a free suicide depending on how well you play it for your team and how good your judgment calls are. Nikki doesn't get Cocoon, almost does. You'll be taking that solo boss for them, trying to get that combat going. They're going to need to overcome that solo level, which now they're just about a fourth behind and close to getting even levels for a good few minutes. And even out the solo a little bit. Nice Cocoon coming out to Ubi. Barely pounces out past the totem. Very fast reaction speed there. That totem had landed half a second earlier, then Ubi would have 100% died in that situation. Edster might be dying instead, and there's the Saw Blade retract, but Ubi doing his best to clean up block. He body blocks him into Rift and might be able to pounce off Paulo, but he doesn't have alpha cooldown quite yet. Nikki having to kite around Body Hunter, seeing what he can do. Body Hunter stuck in a really hard place here. He's doing his best. He's trying. He's about to go down. There's the frag. That's going to be a 1-for-2 exchange. Body Hunter taking out. Paulo left to defend. And I want to point out that even though they have half the kills that the red team has, they've actually already taken on a turret and are in prime position to start chipping down that bottom turret now. Even helping even out that push. We see a pickup of something I don't usually see Edster pick up is Princess. That's the piercing earstrike that lets it hit from top to down in addition to bottom to top. And that's just something that the times I've casted Edster, he had to make the joke at least once. I don't usually see him go. What do you think is kind of changing his mentality right now?
I think he's looking to poke with the airstrike as much as possible, and one of the big things is that Derple's so vulnerable, well, not necessarily vulnerable, but he's such an easy target to hit, and when they're trying to defend a tower like that, if they want that bottom tower, being able to use the airstrike above them just gives you so much pressure. So in this case, I think Atlas is actually really good. Oh, we have the Cocoon going out, and Nikki's going to get Cocoon killed. Deja vu once again, and we have Esther just barely getting out of there. Red team is really securing those kills and really following up the Cocoon. They've got some really good follow-up. But as you're saying before, the blue team's been able to keep up. Part of that's been Solar Boss and Solar Boss kills, steals, been able to keep their XP money up, and the other part's just been all the auto attacking that they're doing, and all the range that they have with their auto attacks has just been enough tower push to really knock down the towers quite a bit, and they've been able to focus top tower down to give them a little bit of a catch up.
Absolutely. And we see double teleports coming out from Body Hunter and Blob right now. Looks like we're gonna see cooking in a single stage of Metacam being picked up, and on Body Hunter's end, you do see nuke damage, you see nuke size, and another stage of the shield on siege mode being picked up. It's gonna make him harder to kill. It's gonna make him easier for him to land his abilities, and he's gonna deal more damage. Here comes a big nuke out here, but not before Ubi takes out Paulo. Cocoon is gonna come out, but there's not gonna be a follow-up. Just that was a little bit. Paulo just gonna get him caught out, and that's what we were talking about in the pregame there, of just, you know, blue team has a comp that's easy to get caught out versus, you know, you suddenly just realize you're being given. And one thing is that Derple is a slow not to help out his team. I mean, he's kind of slow at the counter initiation game. Bounty Hunter did the best he could to get in there and get that drop nuke going and doing as much influence as he can and trying to thwart them off, but that just wasn't enough. The blue team was already committed to the kill by then. And we see the grid traps coming out on the bottom lane, just kind of getting those choke points going. Totem going on the top. They're going to get a little bit of chip off that. Airstrike going to be dealing 490 damage to Bounty Hunter, a little bit more to his ally because they do not have the barrier magazine. And the kind of delay continues, just doing their best to keep that bottom turret healthy. The longer a game goes on with Genji on your side, the more likely you are to win, so to speak. He is a absolute late game monster, hands down one of the best late game knots in the game. Lots of damage dealt to Bounty Hunter right there between Nicki's auto attack and the Rift. Needs to watch out for that, because if he had been a little bit further behind, then he would have definitely gotten fragged there. They would have been in prime position to take him out. And we see Paulo and Blonde, they're going to be constrained to the bottom lane right there. There's going to be a snipe and a blessing that was missed time, so it's not going to reduce any of the damage, though the hill blessing is going to help recuperate a little bit of it. Nicki and Edster going to that top lane there and clearing out the droids. They're looking into some footsie with the Bounty Hunter snipe from Nicki onto him, but Bounty Hunter has the health on that top left section right there. Airstrike, Rift coming out, big engagement. Bounty Hunter's going to get caught out. That Martyr Blessing barely keeping him alive. Apollo goes in with that scree blade, saw blade, scree blade, whatever you want to call it, flank, takes out Ubi. Martyr Blessing completely turning that fight around right there, and that's going to be a 1-0 in favor of the red team, helping them bring back some of their momentum. Bring the kill 6-3, and now they have a level advantage for just a few seconds. They might go in and try and press. There's a bunch of poke coming out from Paulo right now. He gets that Saw Blade. He's getting that Magic Sunballs going on. Or he doesn't even have Magic Sunballs. Excuse me. This is the first time I haven't seen this in a long time on screen. He actually has straight up auto attack damage. Feels through the mind. That's the slow and attack speed. And big snipe coming out with a pounce follow up coming on to Ubi. Committing to that turret when they could have taken that 8 time. Not the best of ideas. However, that's going to be Paulo's life in exchange for that top turret being taken out. But now, check ourselves. eSports is dealing a lot of damage to that to the enemy red back top turret, and they all bodied it right there because they saw that everyone was busy lane rotating. They know the time that it takes Triple to do it. And so without any droids, they actually just got that down to 2/3 HP. All while going 1 HP themselves, but they just fell back, took a solid boss, and now they're back on that bottom turret. Again, keeping that push going, showing what, Raylan auto attack, Ted auto attack, gun pinning can all do when they left uncontested. Big fight coming out here. There's the cocoon nuke and last hit Nicki there. That upwards nuke was really well done. Lots of damage coming out here. Scree is just doing really good job of getting those numbers on the board. Esther's gonna be left to defend this, and there's gonna be an airstrike on Apollo, but they have the blessing, they have the droids, they have the airstrike. Cocoon gonna be missed, Saw Blade is gonna be zoning them out. Esther just at 530 HP. That bottom back turret, that bottom front turret for blue team, just at 2.5 bars. Here comes another set of droids here. The fat cats and the auto attacks and the totems all coming out. Same deal. Nuke hits the turret. Saw Blade, cuts off that rotation. Ubi about to get into flanking position, but he's going to get out. That Rift and that Grid Trap getting all consumed on that bottom lane there. Really just kind of very back and forth push-wise. Paulo completely caught out. That was an excellent stun into the wall, using that Rift to amplify the duration there. And perfectly angled pounce, because if that had hit a little bit lower, it would just pounce Paulo back at behind his turret. And now they should be able to get base exposure. Very nice 1-0 coming out from the Check Yourselves eSports. And Bounty Hunter going way too aggressive, but he manages to go through, tank the Rift, and in exchange gets a nuke. Bounty Hunter gonna get cleaned up by Nicki. Nicki is a flying droid, kind of still in that kill. And the piercing airstrike is going to take out Blah. That's going to make it into a 2-for-1. That was a... There's that what do you call it? Princess Aldous. Yeah. Phone number from Princess Aldous or whatever her name is. The piercing airstrike upgrade doing its work right there. That's not what XiPang Disciples needs to do. I mean, at this point, Check Yourselves eSports has completely caught back up. The kill deficit is only 1 against them. They have a level advantage, almost 2 advantage once they take out this turret here. And the solar is climbing, and they have the map control. And the push is heavily in their favor. What does XiPang Disciples need to do to come back from this, Devon?
Like, honestly, I'm surprised that Genji didn't go for the heal one, just to make him make the turtle basically an immovable monster. At this point in time, they need to really land a cocoon, capitalize on a kill, and then finish off the blue team. Really hard to do so now that the blue team is really rolling in upgrades right now. Important upgrades like the T800 drone, which is going to body block Genji right into the side there, and allow him to get finished off by that time rift. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was painful to watch. He's just trying his best to walk away, and Time Slow wasn't having it. Probably going to take a snipe right there, and we got base exposure. Bounty Hunter in a really bad situation. There's going to be the airstrike, though. It's not going to hit anything. It's not going to connect. There comes out the nuke. It's not going to hit anything itself. And now check out those esports going in hard. There's going to be a snipe. They know that XiPang Disciples can't contest yet, but here's going to be a saw blade. It's going to get Nikki really low. Edster and Ubi a little bit more healthy than them. They're all going to go ahead and just back off now. Here comes the Goon Squad. Bounty Hunter trying to see what they can do. They're going to choke point around there. There pops the rift. Nothing going to happen. And Edster is going to go ahead and try and escort up some droids. And he's going to get a lot of push going down here. Here comes Blah trying to find a cocoon. It's not going to hit anything. There's going to be a nice rift coming out. There's going to be the stun pack also. Fat Cat going to chip on Edster. Snipe going to not hit anything but keep them behind their turret. Paulo trying to get past the airstrike in time. It's going to still dead down, bring it to 50% HP. And XiPang Disciples doing their very, very best to defend this turret, but there's only so much that they can do. Going to be a very nice piercing airstrike coming out from Edster there, going from the Solar Boss spawn on the red team down to where they're defending that turret at. And this turret's just at 2 bars now. They need to hopefully land a cocoon right now. There's going to be a snipe. There's going to be a saw blade. There's going to be a whiff nuke. That is so unfortunate, but Blah still manages to pick up the frag on Edster right before Ubi can revenge kill that. He finds the cocoon. They can't get greedy here, and that's exactly what Blah does. Going in for a flank on Penny when you're less HP than her is not a good idea, but a very nice drop nuke at 2 bars is going to take out Ubi. That's going to leave Nikki 1v2 against 2 low HP Nons. He can do this if he plays it right. He's trying to bait them because he can one-shot right now, either of them with a snipe, but unfortunately they're not. He's probably going to back up now. I can't imagine he stays any longer. Yeah, he's going to run, but still, what a nice drop nuke, realizing the one way he could have gotten out of that scenario, and Bounty Hunter actually managed to make it happen, but now he's going to get caught out. He's doing the complete opposite of what he did last time and just dies in a very overextended 1-for-0 down to Edster. And yeah, we see probably what might be the last team fight of this engagement here. There's the Monarch Blessing, there's the Rift, there's the Cocoon. Nikki taking a lot of damage. Blah and Paulo probably going to heal up as fast as they can. Ubi back in spot now, doing some chips to that base with that gun penny, dealing out a lot of damage, and won't be much longer. Bounty Hunter passing the shop now, and blue team going to be backing off. We need to see a fight really go in favor of XiPang Disciples before anything else happens here. So otherwise, it's not going to be their match. Plain and simple.
Blue team's taking both slur bosses at the same time, leaving the red team in like a severe disadvantage there. Not that they aren't at the moment, and the airstrike's going to hit, do a lot of damage, and Ted's going to get hit by a saw blade. Yeah, they need that cocoon to land. They need it now. That is going to be their only hope at this point, especially since the core is so low there. Bounty Hunter jumping in with the nuke, and the nuke with the size, and the damage manages to finish off Edster there. Blah's taking a lot of damage from Nikki, and can't afford to go to the left because the time rift, combined with the body blocking droid, just leaves him in the poor position. Time rift might be up in a second, and we might see some fun action not happening there, as Nikki gets picked off by the saw blade.
Dude, that might just be that overcommitment that, you know, XiPang Disciples really need. I know their base is at 50% HP, and, you know, there's a lot of work that they need to do. But the two for nothings there is exactly what they needed to happen. Yeah, exactly what they needed to happen right there. So, it's going to be a little bit of a moment before they can really capitalize on this. They're getting their droids, trying to get them pushed up here. Nikki going to get a nice snipe out under there. And really not much else happening. These guys are both just kind of defending at the moment. Not really much else of happening. Nikki and Ubi on the top lane doing their best to defend here. Looks like I think he's gonna try and find a cocoon, fish it out. There's gonna be a whiffed airstrike. Very defensive game now. Both teams kind of. It's not even so much that I guess it's not that they don't want to fight. I think it's that there's just so much in the way. You know, in order for blue team to go win, they have to deal with grid trap. They have to deal with cocoon. And in order for red team to go in, they have to deal with rift. They have to deal with stun. They have to deal with silence. And these are all different things that they have to worry about. Actually, excuse me, we don't actually see a silence on Penny, so I'm gonna have to take that one back. In fact, the only pulse upgrade she has is range. What do you think about that?
Honestly, I don't think the silence was as necessary as it was. Going ranged Gunpenny, allowing them to poke down with the team a lot more and having that push has made a significant difference in this game. And although most people like to silence Kenshi to focus them, their team's not really a bursty comp one. I mean, Airstrike can burst and Snipe can burst, but they've been focused on doing mostly machine gun, based shotgun, and just combining that with the Time Rift. So I think going full DPS using Time Rift as its own form of sort of silence, like as a strong CC, has been what they've been doing, and it's been working out extremely well for them. And I'm still surprised nobody's picked up Baby Curry Math to stop that from being such a severe issue.
Indeed, and yeah, the luck of Baby. Actually, that's no way. Okay, never mind. That cocoon on Nikki's not going to be anything. We actually see getting out of the hood getting picked up, and there's going to be a stun strike and but it's not actually going to hit anyone. And now red team's going in very hard. He's not getting it out of the hood to try and catch up, get a bunch of damage in, and we see everyone taking some numbers here. Follow going to go down to half health, but Ubi's probably in prime position to get taken out, and in fact he does. Etzer getting the revenge kill though. There's going to be a very amazing rift coming out from Nikki, and the body block is actually going to lead to that kill. Now it's just Blah left to defend. He doesn't find the cocoon on Nikki, but Etzer instead takes it for him, and that's going to leave Blah in a really bad scenario. If he can't defend this, which he's going in really aggressively, he's trying to make it work. In that cocoon, he might actually make that frag. There it is, but there's no way he wins this fight. There's the airstrike. That's going to be left Etzer to take the win. I still got to give him credit on actually landing that Arc's cocoon there. But on that body block and that last team fight from Nikki just completely decided everything. That was an amazing body block. And in pregame, we talked about how Body Hunter being Darple, getting stuck in a rift, would always be bad for me. You really had to avoid that. That's exactly what happened. What decided the game there.
Yeah, it was unfortunate that he was unable to come out of that rift, but it wasn't even being in siege mode at that point. It was just being physically body blocked into the time rift with the addition of Droid and just the map terrain there, which is really unfortunate on his part. And I honestly, given the matchup that he had some really good nuke kills. And there are certain situations that we saw where, like, say, examples, Rand's about to snipe him to death, and the Penny was coming in on bottom, decides, you know what? I've watched Shield on Siege. He sieges up, uses the shield to protect himself, and then uses nuke to retaliate kill and manages to get out of there. They're really good kills on both sides, and I think this is a lot more even than it actually looks like on the map. I mean, even red team had more kills in the end. So really, it was just, there's a lot of pressure, and like one move with the cost of the game, I think, for the blue team as well, if they had slipped up there. On a side note, a fun little bit of Awesomenauts trivia that I found out recently. The Princess Adla's phone number, which is the piercing upgrade for Ted, apparently if you spell it backwards, it's Zelda.
Oh wow, I never even actually thought about that.
Yeah, there you go, it's Zelda.
XD.
Everything's ruined.
Yeah, I always just thought, I don't know what I thought it was. I just thought it was like some lore that they made up, but that's so obvious. How did I not see that after Ted's been out for like what, 4 years?
Oh, like a couple of years. Yeah, that's okay. So I believe that was Team CL's win. So now we're going to a tiebreaker, I believe, for the bracket, potentially for the last. So if next one's taken by CL, I think it's ended, and they get the prize money and the grand finales finished off. But if XiPang Disciples come back with another one, I believe we go into another bracket after that, if I'm correct. Correct me if I'm wrong there.
Indeed. Yeah, so we're going to see a tiebreaker coming out. And if XiPang Disciple wins this, then it's going to be bracket reset, and another best of 3 will be played, since this is double elimination, and Check Ourselves Esports hasn't lost a set yet. If Check Ourselves Esports wins, then that's the end of the tournament, and they will be the winners. It will be interesting to see. They've only lost 1 match this entire tournament so far, and that was the game 1 that we just saw. So we're gonna have to see if they can step it up, if they can take the win right now, or if XiPang Disciples will bring this back to a second set of games. One way to find out, and that's to see what happens after our short break. Oh, anyway. Welcome back, everybody, to the Awesomenauts Rumble June Gathers Grand Finals. We are at match point for Check Yourselves eSports, as they only need one more victory in order to secure themselves the win and take home this tournament. It's currently 1-1. If XiPang Disciples wins this, it goes to the bracket reset. Joining with me once again, Devmon. You holding up, my good sir? You ready for some more Awesomenauts gameplay?
I am indeed, and this is going to be an interesting one to say the least. Like you said before, match point for check yourselves. Because if
check
they
y'all
win this,
pronunciation before they check you. That's the best I got on that one.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I hope you all are ready. I hope XiPang's also ready too. Because there's a draft, I'm going over it. If that's okay by you?
Yeah, I hope y'all disciples are have drafted. Well, I just want to tell.
Yeah, no worries. So, we are on Agilion for this potential last map, which is, again, the Stealth Lord map, of course. The first ban goes for Check Yourselves, who are going to bout Frog, who's a very dangerous threat. We have XiPang Disciples banning out Genji, who is also very deadly, very potent. This is met by a pick of Penny, who is, Penny's pretty good, to say the least. Penny's very, very strong, and she's been picked up alongside Jimmy in the Lux spot. And that's been met with the underwater duo, which is, well, I guess it's a trio in that case, Vinny and Spike and Swiggins, which is, hey, if you want burst and you want initiation, that's a really good combo there. Second bans include Coco Nebulon, which has not been played at all, but has been banned a couple times already, and Ted McPain, being very potent, and, well, Edster's main, as they say, is Ted. So banning him out is very effective controlling that. However, I believe, if I can guess right, Edster, I believe, is going to be playing your Deadlift, securing a very bulky team between Deadlift and Jimmy. There's a lot of protective poses, there's a lot of shields. It's going to be interesting there. And XiPang Disciples going to pull out their MVP, their favorite character there, Scree, who's been pulling out a lot of work these matches, actually, doing lots of damage and just doing fantastic work with the totems and just the saw blades as well. So there's a potential for really good combos, especially with Anchor Drop with Amp right into Spike Dive, or maybe even Silence Dive into the team, followed up with that saw. There's a lot that can be done, and maybe even a good old-fashioned totem on the jump pad, followed up with double saw. Hard to say, but there's a whole lot that can be done, and it'll be interesting. Again, if XiPang Disciples take this, they'll move on to another best of 3. And if they don't, they've lost the tournament, and they'll go right to Check Yourselves eSports. And that basically sums up the teams for the most part. What do you think of them there, Mr. Billow?
I want to say... Okay, so we got Penny, which is obvious, on that red team. You got Deadlift, which is going to really help soak up the blue team. God, Swiggins and Vinny is so strong, so ridiculously strong. They got the stun cancels, they got a lot of slow. Salt Blade could really messing up here. I want to see the Swiggins pick up Amplify. I don't think I've seen Amplify lose yet, honestly.
It's super good. Yeah.
That's so much. Like, I mean, you're taking like an 800 damage nuke and increasing it by 15% for all those nukes. Like, that's one of the most cost-effective upgrades in this game. Like, hands down.
It's even better when you find out that Amp actually stacks with spoons, so you can actually improve the damage of spoons even further with Amp.
Exactly. It's like well, not necessarily a third stage. It's like it's a 2.5 stage.
400,
basically.
400 plus an extra, 60 damage. Yeah, that's very significant. And that stacks with auto attack damage, and it's just a whole bunch of other things. And only for 200 solar, that's gonna wreck some people's days. And I almost want to see a double dive or the Dead Seahorse head coming out from Vinny before that. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think Silence Dive is gonna be the optimal choice and probably the thing that he picks up immediately. But we could all hope, we could all dream. I thought Heal 1 was going to be in the last one. That was not quite the case. Yeah.
My money's on Dead Sea. You might get both. That's not another question either. But there's
Ooh.
only one way to find out. Are you ready to get into this match, my friend?
I am indeed.
All right. Would you like to give us potentially the final countdown of the tournament?
Sure. Right. 3, 2, 1, and go.
And go for it.
Right. On your red team, you have Edster playing your... Sorry, Ubi playing your deadlift. Edster's playing your big baby in a suit of iron. And Nikki's playing the penny with a gun penny immediately off the gate. On the other side, Pablo's playing your Scree. You've got Blah playing your Vinny and Spike. And, of course, Body Hunter playing your Abyssal Swiggins. And Silence Dive right off the bat. As expected, AoE on Ancient Octates is like Saw Damage. Sweat Wildbound is like Danger Pins. This is like the optimal choices are being made right now. The standard picks are being played.
Oh, absolutely. And there goes the silence. I lost that bet. I thought I was gonna. I was really thinking about the possibility of triple damage. It's been a while since we saw Blah Vinny, but he used to play Vinny a lot for his team. And we're gonna see right here, big anchor dive coming out for Edster on the initiation. He's gonna do some missiles on the trying to clean that up. And Nikki going and pounce in, trying to pick up the first blood. He's not gonna manage to find it the entirety. XiPang Disciples having to back up immediately the girth of the red team, really showing how that works out there, because Jimmy and Ubi just Edster and Deadlift just surviving the Armageddon there, whatever the names are. Sorry, words are hard. Edster and Ubi surviving Armageddon there, and then that leaves your damage dealer Nikki the Penny to just go and clean everything up. And Nikki's already running that gun, and which deals so much clear, does so much poke. It's so good. He's got the stealth. He's seeing what he can go get set up for his team. Have just kind of a little bit of a footsie nuts moment. I think we might see Body Hunter going in for anchor dive potentially soon. There is going to be a totem here. Boys are here to do that, and that charge actually managed to hit. So Body Hunter and Blah have to take this fight, and that missile actually cleans up Blah, barely hitting him. It kind of looked like he was out of range for me, but regardless, that first blood is going to go to Edster. They had to take that fight after Apollo got back out in order to save him. And unfortunately, that was the consequence. Great hook coming out here, but Edster actually going to charge him back, pick up the danger pins, take another frag, going 2-0 now. That was kind of a good bait and really good just holding onto his ability and using that danger pins at the opportune moment instead of kind of expending all of his utilities at the beginning of the team fight. And now Nikki's stealth and biz. He's going to go ahead and just deal 91 damage with that poke, going to down to Paulo on those lane rotations, pulse the droids. Solid Blade and Missiles going to kind of keep each other in check on that bottom lane. And not much else really happening right now. Nikki going to be walking forward a little bit, and not much really else happening. That totem preventing the fight. Here's the spike dive. Cloud. We see the protective pose. Nikki gets caught by Anchor right in front of that turret. That's going to be the first frag in favor of XiPang Disciples, taking them out. And now Ubi going to be looking to see if he can leap in here, because Edster just got cut out. They're going to have to take out that totem. He took a lot of damage with that Saw. Ubi taking that anchor hook for him, which is what Edster needed him to do. There's going to be a spike dive happening on Ubi, but not before he gets protective pose out. And that's Body Hunter's just kind of clearing out that top lane. We're going to see Blah taking down that bottom lane here. Blah and Paulo are going to have to be so extremely careful on some of these lane rotations. All three of them, because all three of them are really susceptible to just getting called out and getting a lot of damage dealt on them. Paulo and Viz looking to see what he can do with it. He might try and make a totem play. Paulo and Jas are the two Screes that you see all the time from match to match. I don't think Paulo's is as aggressive with his totems as Jas is. So I don't know if we'll see like big totem initiations. He tends to be like the guy that just comes out of nowhere and just double saws you in the face. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know how much of that we'll be seeing. We're gonna see a little bit more poke coming out. That top turret just getting willed down here. Body Hunter, Blah, and are just kind of chilling in the jungle, being pressured out. They're Check yourselves eSports is doing a really good job on controlling that jump pad, and I think that's something that's really, really important to take note of. There's going to be a missed leap. Here goes the potato post. Spike dive onto Nikki, and Cloud coming out. Edster trying to charge them out into a bad position. He does so successfully to Paulo. That's going to leave Ubi to clean him up, and that's going to be another 1-0 in favor of Check yourselves eSports, starting to really define the tone and the mood of this match. It's a little bit more like that, and we'll be seeing a snowball. So far, they have a little bit more experience, enough that they have a level advantage, but they won't be holding. They won't be level 5 before XC reaches level 4, so it's not too much. Big fight going to come out here. That spike dive hitting, he kind of spike dive Jimmy instead of deadlift there, that led to him getting a kill, but now Paulo going in and dealing a lot of damage. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to find the, what do you call it? He's not going to be able to find any of the frags, but he does take complete control for a brief moment. He has magic sunballs this time as opposed to the attack speed, damage slow that he had in the last match, which is going to make a big difference. Honestly, magic balls, sunballs does so much more damage, and it's so good, and you don't have to aim it. Plain and simple, you don't have to aim it. So I mean, it's really good that he picked that up. We'll see a little bit of skirmish coming out here. What's the best way for the blue team to be played around these shields? Because I don't think, even considering the silence, that they can really kill Jimmy and Deadlift in time for the silence to wear off. So what can they do about all that?
Now, this may be a little crazy. Might have to wait here for a second as the brawl goes out. Bilal's going to get pushed into a poor position. He tries to fly to the right. Big mistake as he gets finished off by Nikki's Pulse. And Anchor Dive. Anchor Drop's not going to be enough to secure him. Top's going to go down for the red team. Sorry, going back to the question before. What can the blue team really do to come back from this? And what can they do to get through those shields? Although it's really weird, I think Duration's kind of a boon for this team. Duration being able to hold them down for longer makes a big difference, but not as big of a difference as Body Hunter being able to finish off the deadlift there. That was quite a lot of damage coming up from the stealth area. They managed to get a kill secured in return, which gives him a little bit of sword to come back, which is important for Swiggins because he really needs that sword to scale incredibly well. But I think that getting a healthy duration anchor, maybe with some amp on there, would actually be quite effective against Deadlift or even against Jimmy, who thrive on taking a bit of burst and then getting away. But being able to hold them down for extended periods of time might be what they need, especially for Scree and his Saw Blade. Absolutely. Other than that, there's one upgrade I want to point out that I haven't seen for a while. Since you play Jimmy a little bit more than I do, what do you think about the pop-out cage, the rattle size for Jimmy there?
I think it's a slightly underappreciated upgrade. Honestly, I think it's one of those upgrades that serves a purpose, but it's kind of outclassed by the ones that are always picked up, like attack speed and even the shield on the auto attack row. They do so much that typically I don't really get pop-out cage over that, but it's going to help him make sure that he's landing his abilities on everyone. Body Hunter in a really bad spot. There's going to come the leap in the missile is going to be taking him out. He wants to make sure that Knots like Vinny especially. Vinny, Scree, these guys can be really slippery and can be sometimes difficult to track, especially when you consider things like anchor hook and totems getting in your way, and blind, to be perfectly honest. And that helps counteract that, and helps, when they're trying to float above your head, that you still hit them anyways. So there's some of the different things. It also has a bunch of different niche moments on Aguilon where you can hit them through the walls where you otherwise wouldn't be able to. And it's the little things like that. It's got the little niftiness of it. And it's not a bad upgrade. I think more than likely we're going to see damage and lifesteal as his, I don't know, we already see damage. I'll be very surprised if lifesteal isn't his third option. And frankly, I think that just the DPS combo plus lifesteal would still be optimal here, but I definitely see what he's going for, and it's not bad. He can make it work. He is making it work, as a matter of fact, going forward. Oh, at the moment, but he is going to miss island when he's 1 HP, but he's going to tank that anchor dive. That got really, really costly there. That early double pills pickup in the region really going to show its worth right there now. And so far, they're really in a position to, take this win. We're going to see the lady's going to get consumed by XiPang Disciples on those droids. Nothing really much happening. We're going to see Paulo teleport back home. Big fight coming out, and we're going to see Bunny Hunter barely. That was one of those instances where he didn't get the kill anyways, but, I mean, if Ed had picked up the kill, then it would have been safe to say, hey, look, pop-out cage, perfect example right there. He's a little bit more on point with the tracking right there. So there's an example of what we're talking about when we talk about using it to hit when you otherwise wouldn't. So we see Hook coming out onto the team there. Their protected post means no follow-up, but Paulo's gonna try and follow up anyways and get taken out by Nikki. And check ourselves eSports just kind of permanently stationed inside that jungle. That bottom turret gonna go down. Missiles and gun pinning being too much for it. Maybe gonna leap in, not hit a thing. We're just gonna see some chilling more than anything else. Nikki doing his best, just kind of getting the chips where he can. Body Hunter going in, anchor dive, pulse, it's not gonna be enough, missed anchor hook. Here comes Saw Blade, lots of damage coming out. Vinny trying to do his best, see if he can find the next spike dive. Nikki going really low, he's gonna pounce to the left instead of taking that jump out, but the spike dive is gonna hit Nikki anyways. It's a good juking attempt, but it's not gonna be enough. That's gonna be a 1-for-0 exchange in favor of the blue team, exactly what they needed. They still have a bit more comeback room to make, but you know, they needed some breathing room and they needed something to kind of kickstart them, and this might just be it. Now that they got that, they get the droids cleared out. They're going to take a moment, get back together. We see some solar being spit on both sides. So there's a stage of chrome file being picked up by the Vinny, for example. And they're going to go to that top turret. They got the totem, they got the droids, they got the push. They're whittling down the health there. And took down another 2 or 3 bars. The fight's going to be taken by Check Ourselves Esports. Blah, in a really bad spot. Needs to run. I don't think he's going to make it though. Just hanging out way too long. And after all those abilities get consumed for the pushing, for example, the totem, the humble being sacrificed, there's nothing that they're going to be able to do to counter initiate. So that's just going to be leaving now. Once again, another 2v3 scenario. Apollo getting a very nice Saw Blade, dealing a lot of damage, but protected pose. He's trying to commit. It's not going to work. Body Hunter going to miss that. He's probably going to die here, and that's going to be a wipeout in favor of the red team. That's not what they needed. This might just be their tournament to take now. They're going to be able to get base exposure off of this, but here comes a spike dive, but it, again, just not enough. The protected post now making it impossible for Blob to commit. That just a mere 140 HP. That turret going down to 2 bars. There's a really good example right there for dead seahorses heads, as opposed to silence, would have meant he picked up a double kill more than likely. We're looking at bottom turret is out. Apollo gonna get taken out. Just tries to go in and hit that Saw Blade refract and just gets completely erased. Out comp and snowballed. There's not much they can do. Etzer gonna get taken out by Body Hunter. We see a hooked Ubi. Blah, I think just waiting for a spike dive, but here comes the protected post, and so he's gonna have to get out. Now Penny's here to back up, and Nikki trying his best to create some space. He almost got taken out, but almost also got in a double kill. You know, it's gonna take a miracle for XiPang Disciples to come back from this at this point. Nikki getting caught out. There is gonna be a frag that they really needed, and I want to point out, work is cut out right now for XiPang Disciples. I mean, their base is relatively unchipped. It is missing a bar, but they've lost all their turrets, and they basically not pushed at all. They're at a level deficit. They're at a solar deficit. What can they do right now? Like, realistically speaking, what's the play?
This is do or die. Right now it's looking really good for Red, and if it's anybody's game to lose, to quote Slow Wolf, it would be Red teams. They would have to make some pretty big mistakes, and if Blue wants to capitalize on those mistakes, that's what they're going to have to do. First and foremost, they're going to need damage, so Vinny and Spike probably going to have to drop all the utility for damage. I'd say that Scree has to drop everything for maybe even cooldown totem just to kind of create more opportunities, and Swiggins needs that. Oh, he's got the amp right now. Needs to really capitalize on that. Even like duration on the duration on anchor drop would have been quite useful, just to hold them down for just a little bit longer and secure those kills. They need to be as aggressive as possible. They need to secure the kills constantly in order to get the pressure going and basically retaliate. If they hold up and just kind of play passively, they're going to get pushed back to the base, and every little bit of core chip matters at this point in the game. We see here Nikki's going to go for the core. He's going to do lots of damage, trapped behind the totem. Blaz extremely low, gets picked off, and is left Nikki at a really good position with Gunpenny to push down that core. Blue teams needs to burst down the Penny in order to stop her from doing anything here, but with Deadlift in the way, he's the meat shield that everyone wants. Penny's doing a lot of work here. Pounds goes in. We've got the shield going off. The damage going out. Body Hunter's going to get killed. Paulo's left on the wrong side of the town. Gonna get killed with pop-out cage. Barely just reach him in there. And that's a core that's trying to go down rapidly. Vinny's tight goes in there. Actually has some damage, but not enough damage to do enough damage. And it looks like see y'all later's just going to take the whole tournament right here.
And they'll see y'all later, just like that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, your winner of June Gathers is going to be Check Yourselves Esports after one of the most decisive match points that we've seen in a long time. Just honestly, I mean, that was a stomp. They, you know, I hate to put it like that, but that's what happened, and just the reign of destruction that their team demonstrated here was just from start to finish really powerful. They did, you know, they played the comp well here. Edster had some very good early game pickups that really helped cement that lead, getting those danger pins, getting those missiles to always connect at the perfect moments, and, you know, always controlling, you know, how much he knocked back. Pop-up cage, it's hard to say exactly how much of a difference it made, but it was definitely effective, as mentioned earlier. In the early game, what could the blue team have done differently, in your opinion?
Well, there's some situations where they found themselves kind of misplaced, and I know there's one situation where Body Hunter just tried to teleport out instead of running towards the end and teleporting out. The displacement was heavy, and I think that although Silence Dive is amazing, it's a fantastic upgrade that like basically prevents a lot of things. I think they needed more damage. As funny as it is to say, going Dead Seahorse head and just foregoing all regen, foregoing all that, maybe even just piggy banking the damage right away to try to get a snowball going up against a team like that would be critical. Other than that, trying to get Penny picked as the primary target can be really hard, actually, given that deadlift's in the way. But having things like Saw Blade stay out longer, maybe even a different approach to some ways, although not conventional, not by any means, having a Saw Blade that kind of baits out the shield itself. Particle Saw combined with just saw damage and just kind of melting the shield as much as possible, and then doing the follow-up is often the best way to make Deadlift unable to do anything, and not just direct silence.
Absolutely. But either way, another month, that's 3 wins in a row. Every single gathers has now been won by Nikki, Ubi, and Dave W. This month, picking up Edster as a 4th for a change. And every single month, it's been XiPang Disciples in 2nd place. It was during the May event that they got their closest to actually beating out and taking the crown for a change. But kind of like it makes it more hype. I feel like one day XiPang has to be able to take the victory, but it's like making it more hype because so far consistently you're seeing these guys just. Nikki, Ubi, and Dave is like the 3-man team to beat right now. Edster showing that he can just fit in just as well in that lineup as any of the other guys on that side. And like, they can play so many different knots. You got Ubi's Penny to deal with, the Dave's Ix, Nikki's Raylan Ted. Like they know the knots they play, they know how to draft, they don't miss, and they have such good mechanics and are so synergized and burst out at the same time. It's they're really the team to kind of just, you know, observe and learn from. It was a really interesting tournament this goes around because this was the first tournament since what do you call it? Words are hard. Since we saw the free-to-play launch happen, and
right, that's right.
Yeah, so that was really interesting. We had a lot more teams participate this time. I think we had a total of, I believe, it was 30 teams check in out of 56 signups, and definitely had a bunch of you know, surprise wins, and teams that did a lot better than I would think. So I hope this means the kind of dawn of a new era of competitive. I hope to see a lot more teams coming around. Do you think we might be able to kind of see a sort of revitalization going inside the scene?
I want to say it right now. I've seen a whole bunch of the new players, and although some people are new to the genre and kind of they're trying to find their niche, there are actually quite a lot of good new players that have just kind of become so natural to the game. They picked up a few, and they're like, "Hey, this really synergizes with me," and they've done so incredibly well. I'm actually legitimately surprised about the people coming into the game. And I think there's winds of change approaching to knock Nikki off his throne, possibly.
Absolutely. Well, with that said, I do want to give everyone a friendly reminder. Really about this scene yourself. You know, give us a follow here, subscribe on YouTube. Those are the little things that take 5 seconds and you know, help us when we seek out our potential sponsors, so that we can say, hey, look at our growth. Very tiny things like that, and huge difference. I don't want y'all to forget that we do have our weekly scrim show every Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern if you want more competitive gameplay to watch. And we do have a monthly Gathers event every single month. Next one will be on the 3rd weekend of July, I believe. What's the numeric dates on that? It is the 15th and 16th. There's a sign-up link in the info panels right now. Just click the big old picture that says Awesomenauts Rumble Gathers. Sign up, and that's all you got to do. Check out the rest of our social media, also in the info panels. And I do appreciate everyone coming out. And don't forget that we are going to be revealing our Mainline 2017 tournament on the 21st on the stream show. It's not something you're going to want to miss. It's going to be freaking awesome. But yeah, Devmon, do you have any closing thoughts for the day, sir?
No, I think that was pretty well played on both team sides, and I'm actually kind of surprised it went that fast for that last match. I was expecting to go into like the this last bracket there. Other than that, Gunpenny's pretty good. It's really good, and I'm really interested to see what happens next, because next time the next tournament comes out, I believe Dizzy should be out by then.
Yeah, it should, because patch 4.1 drops this Wednesday, so
yeah.
It's going to bring some interesting balance changes. I'm excited as a Rocco main, seeing the AoE on the rapid arrows coming. It'll be interesting to see if that actually brings Rocco back into the meta. Definitely going to be interesting to see how it impacts. I'm looking forward to the scrim shows coming after that to see just, what the impact is. I'll be encourage all the teams to do scrims and do some experimentation and figure out, what the new meta is, because if you figure out before everyone else, you will likely be the person I'm casting in the grand finals. But yeah. Devmon, do you have anywhere where you can find you? Do you have a Twitch or anything?
You can find me on Twitch as Devmon52D. There's a story behind that. I have not told it yet. Anyways, you can find me on Twitter as well as Devmon52, Devmon on Steam. I'm generally around if you want to play some Awesomenauts. Yeah, just hit me up with a message. And you can also find me on the forums where I moderate in general.
Indeed. Well, with that said, I appreciate you coming out. It's been a blast. I really, really enjoyed casting with you, dude. And
yeah,
we'll see you later.
Yeah.
Congratulations again to first place was Check Yourselves eSports, second place XiPang Disciples, and third place goes to Terribly Named. I'll have a good one.